Hi, welcome. This is Cindy with Tana Tarot Pick a Card, and this is the Pick a Card reading. I think I'm going to call it your personality analysis, and it's all about your strengths, like who you are in your DNA. Also about maybe like current circumstances. Then, in addition, it's about your next glow up or what transformation that you may be going through or that you will go through in the near future. And then lastly, it's about your future self. Once once we've determined who you are and the transformation that you're going to go through, what will your future self look like? Fascinating, really good. 3 different whole storylines, just crazy. I just really enjoyed this one. So we have 3 groups: group number 1, group number 2, group number 3. Group number 1, we have the wounded child. Group number 2, we have the hermit. And group number 3, we have the queen. Some very interesting stories. I welcome you to come and tune in. You can resonate with more than one group. So if you need time, you can go ahead and pause the video. But go ahead and make a choice either on the card, the color of the card, the timestamp, the group number, whatever it is that tickles your fancy, and you can choose more than one group if they resonate. So thank you so much for joining me again, and I will see you at your reading. Hey, group number 1, welcome to your reading. So as I said in the intro, this is about personality analysis, if you will. We're going to look at who you are, like your DNA, what your strengths are. We're going to talk about your next glow up. What transformation are you going to go through, or are you currently going through? And then we're going to look at your future self. First of all, I don't want to, maybe it is, maybe you do have like a, what do they call it? A second sight. I don't know if it's intuition or well, I guess that is just knowing. You just know stuff. Sorry, I had to get the light out of my eyes. And it might not necessarily be like, oh, hey, when you were 4, hey mom, Aunt Dorothy just died, or something like that, although it might even be that. But you also just, I'd say I don't want to say dreamer, but like you're a dreamer, but you can really envision things how you want them to be or how you think they should be. I'd say that you've always been on like the side of right. Like even as a child, I would say, how children, they can be selfish when they're young and not want to share. But I could see you as being someone who just kind of always knew what was right. Okay? What's fascinating too, what really slays me is right after the visionary card, you get the zebra. And the zebra is fire. And you're going to see a progression here that's beautiful and fascinating. So what zebras are all about is visionary, creative, kind of eccentric. I'd say that you've always maybe been a bit quirky. You've always marched to your own drummer, and you've done that on purpose. You have always enjoyed being different. I just got a picture of you like wearing weird socks, stuff like that. You're always making like, you know, socks with avocados on them or something. You're always making a statement about who you are and where you're coming from, and I love that. But with this, you know, this whole visionary creativity vibe that I'm getting about you, you always have had a curiosity for life. You're definitely not one who just kind of very early on decided, I'm going to believe these 5 things and this is how I'm going to move forward for life. You've always been a student of life. You've always had a curiosity. I see you as very gray, not black and white. I see you as very open to change, open to possibilities. Then we have again another card that kind of goes with this. We have the element of fire, and it's about confidence, optimism, passion, and bravery. So the story that we see here about you is one of sees things the way they think that they should be, not afraid to say their opinions. You are not afraid to say your opinions, your thoughts, how you envision things. That is that's important to you. It's who you are, and it's who you will always be. You are passionate about life. You're passionate about your vision. You I'd say you're a very optimistic person, and like wearing the different socks, you have like this confidence. Like if I'm sitting in a business meeting and I see someone, for instance, there was this guy, and I want to say he was like a director or a VP, and he crossed his legs, you know, one leg over the other at the conference table, and he had on the most weirdest socks. I want to say it was like penguins or something, just really fun. And I was like, okay, I like this guy. And he was, you know, had a total like, you know, director, VP demeanor, and, you know, in the meeting and serious and everything. But when I saw the socks, I was like, kindred soul. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about your strengths. It's obvious to me that you have been through a lot of pain and had a lot of issues in your life, whether it was from childhood and then going on into relationships. I see that you have done your share of suffering, and I will venture to say that it is something that did happen in childhood, perhaps abuse, perhaps neglect, or, you know, even divorce of parents can really be a really hard thing for certain kids to deal with, especially if it's at, you know, sensitive ages that these things happen and go down. So I see that you have been through something like that in your life. But I want to let you know that I'm seeing this optimism throughout, you know, who you are. It's in your DNA. I would venture to say that maybe you're a Sagittarius, or you have a Sagittarius placement, because I'm a Sag, and we are just Pollyannas. We are just eternal optimists. I mean, you know, knock us down, you know, 10 times and we're going to get up 11. It's just the way we are. We just keep on keeping on. So I really see you as someone who, and I don't even see you as a survivor. I see you as a winner, as, you know, someone that will succeed, someone who will triumph over any kind of adversity. I want to let you know that I see 2 things that are very important to you. stability and love. Okay, that's who you are. And that's interesting for a fire sign to be so tied up with or into stability. But I think due to things that you have gone through in your childhood, made having stability, like knowing that you're secure. Like, I would say maybe a lot of Sagittarians want to live in a van and drive around or travel a lot. My ex-mother-in-law, she passed, but she was every couple of months she was traveling somewhere. She was a Sag. We're notorious travelers. So you may like to travel, but I see where having a home base is very important to you. I see even some type, like traditional things, like a long-term relationship, and even maybe marriage, a partner to share life with is, is who you are. And this is another thing. God, man, you must have, I really do feel like you have strong Sag placements. You are one of the probably most luckiest people in, you will have heard, how did that happen? How did you get that? And, luck, they say, is at the intersection of, preparation and, providence or whatever, because like the best situation could come to you, but if you're not like prepared and ready for it, it probably wouldn't do any good. Like they say, lotto winners, they get all the money, but it's often lost because they did not have the tools to know how to deal with the money properly and, save some and invest and, have fun, but, how to do well with the money. But I see you as a person who has an innate ability to be able to take opportunities and run with them and make them work for you. So these are your strengths, okay? You're a visionary. You know stuff. I mean, you just know. You're a student. You always want to learn. And I love the part of you not being black and white and you being more gray, that you're open. I feel that the pain and the suffering that you've gone through has also made you a much stronger and empathic, empathetic person. I really do. Not that you have to go through that in order to be understanding and empathetic, but I really do feel that it has been actually a good thing for you. It's made you even stronger and more caring. You will always work towards security and for love, no matter what you do. Due to the pain that you've been through, you may be a little, not jaded, but maybe a little reserved as far as, taking leaps, but you are coming from a place of love. You are love, and that is one of your strengths. Okay, let's talk about your next glow up. So one thing that I see that you have done or that you have been doing is working on, doing shadow work. Okay. Sometimes, and I did say up here, for the pain and the suffering and the abuse or whatever all it was that you went through in your life that caused this pain, it made you a stronger person. And I see that whether you have been doing this or whether you will be doing this, that you will be working on this, not only to help yourself, but to help others. You are not, saying, oh, well, I do that because my parents got divorced, or I do that because my dad used to get drunk and hit us and chase us around the house and, hit us, spank us with a belt. or I do this because I've been in so many shitty relationships. You don't use the pain and the suffering and the bad things that happened as, I'm not going to say an excuse. Let me give you, okay, I've been through some heavy shit too, okay? It is not right. It is not okay. It affects us. It does make us act certain ways. It does make us have maybe certain patterns. But my strong belief is, and I can see that you feel the same way here, is that at a certain point, you have to, as an adult, once you're an adult, you have to look in the mirror and you have to say, okay, this happened. It's fucked up. It's not okay. You don't even have to forgive the person. I'm not even going to go there, or the situation. Oftentimes, they'll say if it's a divorce, you'll look back as an adult and say, wow, they did the best they could with what they had. But if it's like, really horrible abuse or something, I'm not even going to go there about forgiveness. That's between you and them. But as an adult, it gets to the point where you have to look in the mirror and you have to say, yes, this happened. Yes, it affected me. Yes, I now do these things as a result of what happened. But I have to now take responsibility for this and make changes. I have to change these negative behaviors. I have to do work. I have to release the anger. I have to, whatever it is that you need to do to be happy. Do you want to continue to live as a victim of whatever it was that happened to you? I would say no. You want to be happy. You want to live a happy, whole life. Or as happy as you can be. It's a journey, okay? It's always a journey. You'd probably be working on yourself forever. I am. But I see that you have taken responsibility and you are working on yourself. You're learning the path of forgiveness, whether it's of the people that harmed you or for yourself, for the things that you have done in response to that, shadow work, I can't think what they call it, but, with your wounded child, going back and talking to that child. Yes, I do see a dark side that due to what you've been through, you have felt restricted. Like, I could hear you say, I must have been absent the day they passed out instructions on how to be happy. I must have been absent the day that they passed out instructions on how to have a good, healthy relationship. You have felt restricted. But I do see you working on that. Doing the shadow work, healing the wounded child from whatever it was that you experienced. And that, my friends, is the beginning of a major glow up. Taking responsibility for who you are and what it is that you're going through now as a result of before. You're turning from victim to, running your own life, being in control of your own life. You don't want to be a victim anymore. And victims are victims, right? When bad things happen, you are a victim, and that must be respected. Like in court, victims need to be protected. I'm not saying, that when things are happening, you're not a victim. You are. But as we grow and we mature and we live, we need to get out of the victim mindset. We say, yes, I was a victim. This happened. It was not fair. It was not good. It was not okay. but now, what do I do? So for your glow up, you know what? I see you. It's funny because I see you going through a lot for this glow up. And for your glow up, we have the turtle. The turtle is it's a water sign, so it's about emotions. It's about going with the flow. And, confirmation. It's about emotions. It's about going with the flow. But it's about being, while it's a water sign, but it's also about being grounded. And that's what I saw up here. Interesting, your need to be grounded. Okay? And this turtle is a perfect marriage of acceptance, accepting your feelings for what they are and working through them, yet being grounded and peaceful. Being able to do that by doing this work. When you go through this work to deal with your past and to let go of the victim mentality, you will experience a ton of conflict. Okay? You may try to work it out with the people. Like you may go to, say it was a divorce, I'm going to use that, and you may still have anger. Maybe someone cheated on someone, and you may finally go, and I'm going to be so stereotypical here, sorry men, but I'm going to say maybe it was the dad, and so you go up to your dad and you say, you know, I may be, 30 or 40 or 50, well, we'll let 50 go. I may be, 30 or, going on in my 40s, but I'm still pissed at what you did to mom and how you cheated. There's going to be some anger there if you choose to work with people outside. There could be a lot of anger and emotions in your own heart as you maybe try and forgive, and understand, hey, maybe he didn't do the right thing, but he wasn't happy and he felt horrible about himself and he needed this outside thing, even though, this attention, to feel validation, to feel better about himself, even though it's not okay, it's not good. You can maybe at least try to come to understand. And I see by starting this work, you can really begin to turn the tides. You are able to have a new love for yourself. Because when you're a victim and you're doing these, what word am I looking for? These, you're making the same mistakes, say, over and over, and you're looking at yourself and you're going, what the fuck, what's wrong with me? I know that I keep on doing the same things and I keep on getting the same results. Why am I like this? Why do I keep on doing these things? But when you start to do this work and you start to forgive and you start to clear things up, those things start to fall away. You start to see the reason why you do things. You start to love yourself more and you become way more in control of your life and how your life moves forward. Okay. I'd say that once you start to do this, you start to work through forgiveness of yourself and perhaps others, realizing that coming from the victim mentality is not going to do yourself any favors, really wanting to let go of these restrictions of this anger and hurt and fear and whatever all, you really will find yourself that you'll have all the tools and you'll be feeling way more in control of your life when you start to do this work. You'll also really be able to start manifesting the things that you want in your life. Love. Once you start to love yourself a bit more, you'll be open to others, maybe more trusting in love. So that's what I see as the glow up. Working on yourself, your wounds, your habits, the things, the autopilot, the things that you keep on doing over and over and over. You're breaking the cycle. So let's talk about your future self. I see a change in, I mean, don't get me wrong, you always beautiful, marvelous. We talked about your strength, your visionary, curiosity for life. But I do see that, I mean, that's all going to stay. But I do see when you work through when you do this shadow work and work through this, that I think you're going to really make some moves towards a new path. I think you're going to make a decision. And whether that is in what you do in life or how you are living your relationships with others, you are, by doing this work, you're finding a deeper purpose. The archetype card says friendship with animals, communication with nature spirits. I just see you becoming way more spiritual. I don't know if you've grown up as a religious person, and I'm not saying if you are, then perhaps you're becoming more enmeshed and more in touch with your religion. But I do see a real growth. I do see you really reaching out and becoming way more spiritual, way more in touch with yourself, with the earth, with animals. I have a feeling you've always been in touch with animals. I see you reaching out in the future, being way more comfortable in reaching out to friends, to create new friends, maybe to reestablish relationships with old friends or family members. But I see you being a bit more comfortable reaching out. I see you feeling comfortable moving forward in rebuilding friendships, social connections. I see maybe you going back to school or going to school. I see you making a lot of moves, okay? I see you planning, preparing. And I see this new sense of control is really, if you've been going through, because of what you've been going through, if you've been suffering from anxiety, which I believe can be definitely psychological, but also physiological, like perhaps a chemical imbalance. And I'm not a doctor, but I'm telling you, once you go through this work, I see the anxiety and the fear and the depression lessening. I see you feeling less hopeless as you go through this transition. I just see you feeling more happy, more in control of your life, more wanting to reach out. Again, friends and family. I see you writing. Are you a writer, or do you do a blog, or do you speak? Do you have a podcast or a YouTube channel? I see you doing some type of communications. I also see you really starting to plan for the future. I think before you kind of, as awesome as you were, you kind of floated through, and the security and the travel and the love that you wanted were all pipe dreams, you thought. But I see you moving forward very purposefully. I see you planning. I see you preparing. I see you writing lists. I see you communing with other people and other groups. I see travel. Okay. And I don't know, I don't necessarily see that as a lifestyle. I see it maybe being part of something that you need to do to make something else happen. Maybe you need to go on some type of a temporary like tour, like a book tour. Or maybe you need to go somewhere to meet with people to help make this new life start. But I will let you know, the group number 1, that the solidity, the stability, the solidness, the safety that you want, and the love that you want, and the happiness, I see that being very, very available to you. I see that you'll finally be able to see that you can have it. I think the main problem up here was you just thought you couldn't have it. But going through this work, you realize that you can have it, and that you do deserve it. I mean, you have the 10 of Pentacles, wealth, financial security, family, long-term success. So group number 1, I see it really happening for you. I see this glow up as being life-changing. So I wish you the best. Thank you for joining me. Please do like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Group number 2, welcome to your personality analysis reading. First, we're going to talk about who you are in your DNA, like your strengths, wants, desires, just like who you are now. Then we're going to talk about your next glow up or major transformation that you are either going through or will go through. Then we're going to look at your future self. Like, what do things look like after this transformation? So let's start. So who are you? What are your strengths? What have you been through? So first we have the priest. We have facilitates spiritual commitment, serves as a channel of spiritual energy. Now, with the fox, which is like, has to do with mystery, being a teacher, being wise, I have this feeling that you are the kind of person that people are always coming up to and asking for advice. And the reason that I know this, stop. Oh, okay, sorry. My camera said that recording had stopped, but it showed that it was on my iPad, so I had a little heart attack. The reason I'm vibing with this is because I'm the kind of person who, in the store, people will ask me where stuff is, and I'm definitely not wearing like tan pants and a red shirt. At work, random people will come up and ask me stuff. At work, been sitting out when I used to smoke in the smoke shack, and people would just come up, pardon me, not all in the same day, but I've had people come up and tell me their life story. Just like out of the blue. At the airport, I had someone ask me to watch their luggage. I was like, oh great, it's probably a bomb, but it wasn't. I mean, this is the vibe that I'm getting for you. You just you have a connection with don't know, the universe, spirit, God. The card is a priest card. I don't know if you are traditionally religious or spiritual. And I have this feeling, group number 2, that in a former life, you were some type of a like religious or person or oracle or something like that. Okay? Very, very in touch. And you're a channel of spiritual energy. I don't know if you are a teacher. I see you involved in like, is it spiritual works? Like, I want to say Reiki, tarot reader, counselor even. To me, being a counselor or a therapist is spiritual work. So I see you being some kind of a teacher. I see you also as having very strong relationships, whether you are married or with your family, maybe a very strong group of friends that are your family. But I see you being extremely loyal and having a beautiful group of friends that you can count on. I see you as being very honest. Sometimes maybe that's why people like to come to you for advice, because they know they'll get the truth, even if it might sting a little bit. You're not mean, you never mean to hurt people, but you are so totally truthful. And people know that they can come to you for the truth. Okay. Right now, you have been carrying a heavy load. I feel as if, I want to say, it's either in relationship or maybe a job. But the vibe I'm getting is that there's been a lot of competition and conflict, arguments, strife. You've been carrying more than your fair share. You've been doing the work of others. And so whether that's at work or in a relationship, maybe you feel like, well, I'm the only one trying to keep this together. So I don't know where it's at, group number 2, but you have definitely been carrying a heavy burden and had a lot of extra responsibility. But this is ending, and this is ending now. And I will let you know that the way that it ends, you will feel betrayed, maybe like a failure. But I do see this very strongly, that group number 2, in your current space of who you are and what's going on here, you either will or have been through a very painful ending. But one of your strengths, and what I see you doing, is stepping back, looking at things, getting a new perspective, okay? You're not going to sit back and plan revenge. You're not going to, spiral down and just blame someone else. You're getting back up. You're dusting yourself off. You could still be very super angry. I'm not saying you're just getting over it, because this was a huge betrayal. It made you feel like a loser, like you failed, and like you were defeated, and like you It's like you lost. But you have, like I said, pulled back, dusted yourself off. You are looking at things now like, okay, it's kind of like, I don't know, I guess I'll use a car accident analogy. When you're in the car accident and it happens, it's like that shock, and you're, you know, maybe the airbags went off, and, you know, there's all that, you know, dust or whatever that shit is that comes out, and, you know, your head hurts, and you're like, oh my God, is everyone okay? That's your first thought, and you're okay, and you check on the other people, and you get out of the car, and you're sitting on the curb, and you're like, you look at your car's totaled, your neck starts to really hurt, you're having a hard time breathing, you're like, do I have a broken rib? What the hell's going on? It's just like, right? Maybe you go to the hospital, you know, but then the next day they come and they tow away the car, or maybe they tow it away from the accident. You're okay, you're bruised as hell, you know, they didn't admit you to the hospital, they just, you know, said go take a hot bath and some ibuprofen. And so you're looking and you're like, okay, well, I need to make an appointment with the doctor, maybe I need to get an attorney, I need to look and see about getting a new car so I can get around and I can get to work. What do I need to do? And then you carry on. And that's what I see you doing after this painful ending. Again, whether it's relationship or work, I feel like it's a relationship. And I don't know how recent it was, but I do know that whatever this loss was, it was very big. Okay, it was a big deal, and it's really hurt you. But I'm here to tell you that the transformation that you are going through, or that you will be going through, is even bigger and better. Okay, we have a ton of major arcana in this transformation. It's blowing my mind. When I laid out these cards, I almost got tears in my eyes. Okay, so I mean, and I'm serious. If you guys have been working with me all this time, you know I shuffle and I lay out. I don't play around, but this is just so freaking awesome. And what's the word? Synchronicity is just, it's amazing. Okay, so anyway, so here is your next glow up. After this loss, we have the Hermit card. Okay? Seek solitude to focus intently on inner life. Serves personal creativity. So up here, you're like, okay, I need a car, I need to go to the doctor, I need to get a hold of an attorney, you know, whatever it is. Here, you're like, wait a minute. What can I learn from this? How can I make myself better? How can I turn this into something good? How can I turn this into a lesson? How can I turn this into something good? And then the poster child for transformation, we have the butterfly. It's about great change and transformation, and in love mainly. Or if you really love your work, it could be, but I have a feeling this is about love. So we have the butterfly, the poster child of transformation. Okay, great change. Transformation in love, probably of love for yourself, ability to love others. Okay, and it's also about trying to be forward-looking and positive and cheerful. And having a daily routine. Because when the rug is pulled out from underneath you, you will always have the need for a sense of normalcy. So I see that with this transformation that you're going through, you're going to try and look at things positively. Up here, when you step back from the situation, you vowed to look at things differently from before, with insight, to try and change things and look at things from a new, enlightened perspective. Because you've always been very spiritual. So that wasn't hard for you to decide to do that. So your transformation involves stepping back and wanting solitude to look at yourself and to turn this negative thing into something positive. And while doing it, you're vowing to have a cheerful attitude and you're focusing on a daily routine. We also have the Dream and Transcend card. Transcend, transformation. Okay, so it's all about using this negative experience as a lesson to learn and to grow. So here's where the freaking chills come in. Okay, so we have the Hermit, and we have in the archetype oracle cards, and we have the Hermit in tarot. Okay, there's some confirmation right there. You are going to go in. Part of this transformation, you need to look within. Okay, maybe what was my part, or what did I allow? If you really want to work on your inner self and grow and learn from this ending. All right, but let me tell you what else. Okay, even though you're going within, there is going to be a team that is going to help you. And I don't know if it's your family or if it's your friends, but you have created such a beautiful, close-knit. It could be 2 people, it could be 10. I don't see it being, I see your circle as being very small and carefully curated. Okay, growing up, I had friends who had everywhere we went, she knew someone. Oop, you saw my cord. Ignore the man behind the curtain. Everywhere we went, she knew someone. I was like, my God, it's like she was friends with everybody. And I realized she was just really good at being acquaintances and didn't even really have that many close friends. So I see your group as being very small and very carefully chosen and curated. But you have that support. No matter whether you're going in, you know you have that support during this transformational period that you're going through. Those people are there. You also have this underlying beautiful Pollyanna ability to face this work and face the world with positivity, happiness. You're able to still have fun and experience joy while you're working on rebirthing your inner self. And you're growing this muscle, this beautiful ability of yours to be positive, to look on the bright side, and to know that happiness is what it's all about. As you transform, oh my God, you're going to find balance. We have the Temperance card. You'll be able to understand. You'll find meaning in what happened. You'll be able to understand your part, their part. You'll see the light and the dark. You'll be able to figure it out. You'll be able to understand. Okay? And as you move forward in this transformational stage, you will come to the point where you will realize that your dreams can come true, what you deserve, and you'll realize mean, you've always wanted a good, happy, solid relationship. And through this transformation, that will either, you'll realize that you can have it. Okay? I don't see that happening during the transformation, but I think through this inner work and this positivity and the support, that where before, because of maybe what you'd been through, you know, I just see you maybe as being a bit like inexperienced or maybe naive up here in the past. And maybe people took advantage of you. But I see through going through this painful experience and turning inside and working on yourself, you realize that you are worth it and that you can have it. I can't go any deeper into that when you're doing this, when you're focusing on your inner life and you're figuring it out, what path you want to go down. All I can tell you is either through this work, this is going to be available to you because of this work, or you are straight up seeing it here. I'm seeing 10 of Cups and the Star. The dream come true. You can have the love in the family and everything that you wanted. Whether that starts to happen during your transformation or whether you just know that now you can have it, I'm not sure. Now, your future self. So we see we've gone from someone that's very spiritual and in touch, someone that's wise, that's a teacher, that is a very loyal and strong partner. You know, I have the feeling maybe you were loyal above all else and didn't maybe really see what was going on. Again, I'm sorry, I'm getting this kind of naive vibe. Nothing wrong with that. I think it's beautiful. Unfortunately, though, sometimes things like this will happen. But it's helped you to turn inside and to grow. So you've turned from this kind of naive person to someone who turned inside and said, who am I? What do I want? How can I make this a good thing? How can I learn from this and grow? And then your future self, we have the servant. Delight in serving others with a free and loving heart. You still have not lost your beautiful, sunny, sweet disposition group number 2. It's so freaking beautiful. Okay, I see you as kind of shy, but I see you also as very intelligent. And believe it or not, through this spiritual growth, you have gained so much strength, and you will not be intimidated. One thing that this glow up has taught you is boundaries. Okay? So you've gotten boundaries. You know who you are. You know what you're worth. But you're the most beautiful combination of strength and don't know, what do I call it? Is the sun soft? You're the most beautiful combination of strength and joy. Okay? You came out of this and you still love people. You have a very free and open and loving heart. And that's never gone away. We have the sun here. We have the sun here. You didn't lose it. We have spiritual growth. So through this transformation, you have really affected spiritual growth. You are way more confident in who you are. You've become stronger, but you've not lost any of the beauty, the joy, the spiritual connection and energy that you have. And I love this servant card because I think a lot of people, let's use politicians as an example. The majority of politicians are all about money and prestige and whatever. They forget that they are servants of the people. And same with police. Like, to me, the best police men, or the best, people who are in that line of work, they're here to help. Unless they're like in a bank robbery or something, someone's shooting at them. But you know what I mean? People, we often forget that we're here to support and help our fellow man. All of us. We're here to be servants. And you know that. And that's beautiful. So your future life, I see a whole new life. You trust yourself. You trust yourself more. You love yourself more. You have boundaries. And you're confident and comfortable in those boundaries while still being open. Okay? You are strong. You are grounded. You are nurturing. I don't know where you were before, but you are also at a point in your life where you are either working on or very, close to being financially comfortable. Or perhaps through this transition, maybe before this transformation, maybe before you kind of were out of it and didn't have control of your money and really didn't know your worth. But I see you like really leveling up and either earning more money, doing entrepreneurial things where you work for yourself. But I see a whole new, beautiful life. We have the World card in your future self. You have completed a negative cycle. You have accomplished an amazing amount of spiritual, emotional, financial growth. You've really leveled up. You know that you can attain love. Your dreams can come true in love and in life. It may include travel, but you're now feeling like you can celebrate life. And I also want to let you know that you have a very, very, I've already said this, but I have to say it again. With these friends or this family or this small group of people that have been there for you, there's going to be celebration. You hermited here. We have two hermit bookends. Okay? You really withdrew and you worked on yourself, but you always knew that these people were here, and they are. Your friends, maybe former or current coworkers who are you're very, very close to. Maybe that's where you've met some of your friends. but they are here for you. They are celebrating for you. They are behind you. They are happy for you. And they will support you in whatever it is that you move forward to here in your future. Group number 2. You are beautiful. The sun, spiritual, happy, positive throughout the whole thing. And because of this energy that you're putting into yourself, this time, this attention, this energy, this work, self-love, love from another, dream come true, you trust yourself, you have boundaries, whole new, a completion of the old, beginning of the new, secure, stable. I think your writing career may take off. You're teaching, writing, something. Something to do with communication. So, group number 2. This is beautiful. This is what I have for you. Thank you so much for joining me. If this did resonate, please do give me a like, and please do subscribe to my channel. Thanks, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Group number 3. So this is your personality analysis, if you will. We're going to be talking about first who you are, like your strengths, like what is in your DNA. Also maybe like current influences. We're going to talk about your next glow up. What type of transformation is going to take place? Then we're going to look at your future self. What are you going to be like? What are you going to go through? What's going to happen? So let's go ahead and get started. So, for your current energy, we have the Queen. Radiates the regal feminine, uses her benevolent authority to protect others. And then we have the Firefly, which is a moment of inspiration, but it's something like a spark of creativity. But when the firefly is there, when that moment of inspiration is there, you need to grasp it, because it will burn out. Perhaps I'm feeling that you have been maybe a bit too empathetic, and it could almost seem controlling to some people, because you do really want to help. You want to help and protect others. But I just hear them saying, I'm fine. Thanks for caring. Thanks for being concerned. But I'm fine. So like, yeah, with the Queen title too, I'm just kind of getting this, this feeling that, you know, what do they say? Sometimes you involve yourself too much in other people's lives because you don't want to look at your own. And yeah, I just have that feeling. And what needs to happen here, I'm seeing is kind of like a merging. I feel like you are seeing this. It's hard for you though, because you really are coming from a good place. Okay? You really are. You really care. But when you try and help someone and they don't want it, it really can, piss you off. And it's like, don't they see that I'm just trying to help, that I'm trying to do good? But I think that you have had sparks here, or maybe someone has really gotten through to you, group number 3, where you can use these empathic urges, this empathic energy. You really can use them to help. But when you try and use them when people don't want you to, it really is like control. And I think you really are seeing that. I think you really are grasping that concept. Okay. Let's look and see at your strengths, who you are, your current energy. I have a feeling, group number 3, that you may be in some type of job or, training, or you may have had some type of training, or you may be in some type of job where you are responsible for making decisions about people's lives. I think this is something that you have been working on for quite a while. I don't know if you are like a judge or an arbitrator or maybe a police officer, but you, in your line of work, and let me just tell you, I do see it as being a very traditional line of work. You definitely respect social construct, society. You know that we need these structures and these rules. And you are very concerned with fairness and the truth. And you've worked very hard for a long, long time on this, but I think it carries over into your personal life and is causing conflict because you're so used to having this control in your work life that it's starting to kind of carry over into your personal life. And it can be real difficult for you to see when people think that it's not helpful. Now, for some reason, that whole energy and vibe just came through to me first. But I do want you to know that you are appreciated for your empathy. Okay? You are admired for the work that you do. I see you as like a civil servant or some type of person who makes difficult decisions. Really a judge, an arbitrator, a mediator. And that's hard. And if it ever becomes trite and true, where you just start doing it automatically, then you know that you do need to look at yourself, because each situation is unique. Okay? So, this is what I have for you. Very empathic, very caring, believes in society and its rules, believes in the structure. Very, very concerned about truth, equality, balance. And the world needs people like you. And I'll tell you what, this really does come from a place of love and a feeling of responsibility for your fellow man. I do see you really as having the mindset of a public servant. That's what I'm getting. That's what I'm feeling. For the transformation, we have bully. It says you may have a tendency to intimidate others, and that might be something that you want to work on. Maybe you don't know you're doing it. But also, you may need to confront the inner fears that bully you. You may have experienced verbal or physical abuse that kind of caused you to be this law and order person. And while you're doing it to help people, this power, authority, and sense of control can be kind of taking over, really unbeknownst to you. So for your transformation, I say that you have an epiphany. Someone says something to you, a family member, or maybe even in your line of work. You get a reaction or a comment and you're like, oh my God, have I been doing this so long that I've lost the purpose, the justice, the fairness, the truth behind this? So anyway, you have an epiphany, and I don't know what causes it. You have the epiphany. You get the message. The message comes to you in such a beautiful, quiet way. I don't know if it's something you hear from outside or it's something that you hear from inside. I'm getting a vibe like you're praying or you're meditating and you get a message that's telling you, what are you doing? Is this still who you are? Are you coming from a real place of service? Or has this become mechanical to you? Do you still belong doing this? Is this still what you want to do? Is this still what you should do? Are you doing this right? You know, all of that, something that you've worked very hard and long on, is now under question. You want peace. I don't feel like you felt peaceful. I think that this whole thing can constantly giving to others at this level can be very draining, disruptive. And if I am correct and you are in some type of court or law enforcement or mediation, you're always dealing with betrayal, loss, anger, hurt, people avoiding the truth. You're always working to help guide negative situations through to hopefully some kind of positive outcome, even if that positive outcome may be like jail or loss for some of these people. And you're realizing that it's been very draining on you. It's been very hard. And what's important to you right now is peace, comfort, family. You're really questioning. This is so obvious to me that this is work. The last one was relationship, group number 2. This is so obvious to me that this is work. So in this transformation, interesting. In this transformation, you have a new inner calling. My goodness. And I'm not sure what it is yet, and I'm trying not to look ahead. So you have a new inner calling. What's important to you now is peace. You've been so young, yin and yang, yin and yang. You've been decisions, 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 action, action, do, do, do. You're so tired of it. You want to sit back. Whatever it is new that you do now, you need to sit back. You're not sure. I don't think you're sure. I don't think you know yet. So you want to sit back and have this come to you, but you want a new phase. You want a new start. You're experiencing a rebirth, okay? And you're having a hard time because you're having a head over heart situation here. Your head is telling you, look, you're doing good. You've worked on this so hard. You've been doing this for so long. I would say over 10 years. And maybe you had to go to school for like 8 years in order to do this. I mean, this is a commitment, okay? And your head is saying, what are you doing? You're gonna let this go? I think you make a good living at it too. But what's crazy is it's almost like we have the panther and the lamb. I'm feeling like the lamb and the lion, and like you've been the lion and you're tired of being the lion, and now you want to be the lamb. And your heart is telling you, I don't know if I'm doing this because I care so much anymore. It's become rote. It's become a job. And I've actually almost started to enjoy the control that I have. And maybe it's in reaction to, you know, some bullying or some, you know, verbal or physical abuse. That it doesn't have to be from parents. You could have been bullied at school. But this could be like your way of feeling in control of your life. And you're really questioning your motives. There, I said it. You're having a real head over heart. How can you leave this? You've worked so hard. You've been in it so long. How could you leave? I don't know if I feel it anymore. I don't know if I love it anymore. I don't know if I'm doing it for the right reason. And in this glow up, in this transformational stage that you're going through, you're excited. I don't know, let's look down here and see if you've decided what the new plan is. But you're excited. You feel a little free. I think this has been very heavy. Like I said, even making a just and fair decision might include putting someone in jail, or someone losing their child. You know what I mean? It's just heavy. I don't think you want to do it anymore. I think you want out. I think you want out fast. I think you're done. Okay, now, you've had this epiphany. You're still up in your head about, do I want to continue to do this or not? You're really questioning your own motives. Man, this looked way... Oh no, I guess it looked fuzzy to me on my iPad, but I think my iPad might just be dirty. Anyway, future self. Let me take a sip of water. What does the future look like for you? We have Midas, miser. Entrepreneurial or creative ability to turn anything to gold. Delight in sharing life's riches. Hoarding money and emotions. Obsessive fear of losing your wealth. And I think this very clearly depicts what you're going through. Hoarding money and emotions. It's like, what are you doing? You're giving this up that you've put 20, 30 years of your life into? And you make good money? This is who you are. And your heart is saying, it's not who I am anymore. I don't even know why I'm doing it. And so, in the future, I still see this clashing of thoughts and ideas. But I think that you're very excited about the opportunity to begin anew into something more entrepreneurial. Because having gone through all this, you know what you are capable of. You know what you can do. You know how abundant of a life you've created, and you know you can do it again. You know that you can grow, you can evolve, and you can create. I'm going to hold on the Panther card for a minute, because we have bookends again. Okay? We have bookends. We had bookends in reading number 2. So, part of your future self, part of this inner turmoil that you're having, it's very important to you to be stable and dependable, and not only the money of the job, but the whole, you got your self-worth from this job. You so, God, I'm having a hard time with words. You so, what's that word where you are your job? You, like you would, if you're a judge, you would wear your robes around. You're just very proud. Your sense of identity, maybe that's what I'm trying to say. Your sense of identity is in this job, is in this line of work. It's who you are. Okay? And that's going to be a challenge for you, because the stability of this, it's going to be a hard move. So, I see a lot of fear in your future. I don't think you've made this decision yet, group number 3. You have been hanging in there. We have the 9 of Wands. Persistence, test of faith, resilience, last stand, weary. You were weary before you had your epiphany, before this thought came to your mind, or someone said something, whether it's family or a coworker or whatever. Before you had that epiphany, you were tired. This is very draining and tiring. I'm impressed with anyone who could do it for their whole life, personally. You are fearful. You feel like giving this up would be a failure. The thought of it fills you with loss and grief. You're worried. You're filled with regret. You're filled with worry. This is a big deal for you, group number 3. You feel emotionally, you feel like you'd lose your identity. Financially, you're worried, what would you do? This is very secure and stable. But you're tired. And then now we come to the Panther and the Tower. Let me tell you something. If you don't make this decision, group number 3, it's going to be made. Hey! Shh! Sorry. If you don't make this decision, group number 3, it's going to be made for you. The Panther, purging, annihilation of the unnecessary. The Tower, sudden change, upheaval. But let me tell you what these 2 cards have in common. They are the purging and the destruction of something that was built on a false foundation. They have to go. And if you don't decide for them to go, the universe, Spirit, God will. Okay? It's just very clear to me, group number 3, that you are meant to make a change. Spirit has your back in this change. You will be having a rebirth, an awakening. You'll remember an inner calling. I don't know what it is, but let me tell you, whatever it is, we have 3 cards of financial success, abundance, manifestation. And if you want to include the Empress, we have the Empress, the Ace of Pentacles, and the Six of Pentacles, which is giving, receiving, sharing, generosity. This card is about sharing. Well, actually 4 cards. Midas touch. Entrepreneurial or creative ability to turn anything into gold. Delight in sharing your riches. Abundance, nurturing, fertility, accomplishment, growth, evolution, action. Abundance. Whatever it is that you're going to be doing, group number 3, I believe that it will be entrepreneurial. I believe that you will start your own thing. And I'm not exactly sure what it is. You may start your own business. Say if you're a police officer, you may start a security company. How wonderful would that be? Going and hooking people up and making sure that they and their families are safe, and you can make bank if you started your own security company. If you're a judge or a mediator, maybe you're going to take those skills, those negotiation skills. Maybe you'll start at like a, what do you call it, consulting business for businesses. And you'll help them with their, do like some trainings for their employees for how to communicate and work with others better. Whatever it is that you've built here and that you've been doing for so long, those skills will be front and center in whatever new it is that you build. So, you hear something that makes you question everything. You're going back and forth. It's a big move, but I'll let you know it must happen. And I'll also let you know your fears are just your fears. It's going to be okay. You are going to come out on top and even happier, okay? You're going to come out sitting pretty. Money's going to be good. You're going to be way more peaceful, okay? It's going to be a good thing. It's a huge change, though. But you're going to be fine. So, group number 3. Good luck. I'm excited for you. If this resonated, please do give me a thumbs up. Please do subscribe. And I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.